pay close attention to what I am about to say to you, because this is not just a thought that passed through your tired mind or a product of your imagination. This is my voice breaking through the silence, calling out directly to your heart. I speak to you because time is no longer the same as it was yesterday. The heavenly clock is ticking down, and every passing second brings you closer to something greater than you can fully understand. I'm not speaking to impress you. I'm speaking to awaken you, to help you realize that this moment is sacred, set apart, and has been planned by me from eternity. How many times have you felt like no one saw the weight you carried? How many times have tears filled your eyes in the quiet of the night, yet you kept going, believing that at some point, I would show up for you? I saw every tear, I heard every sigh that escaped your heart, and nothing had been hidden from me. Nothing went unnoticed because I am the God who watches over you, even when the world ignores you. I am the God who responds, even when everything around you says there is no way out. Now, I rise to speak directly to you because I know that you need to hear my voice more than ever before. I do not come with empty words or false promises. I come with eternal decrees. The key is already turning. The door that seemed locked is about to open, and the time you spent waiting is now shifting into the time of fulfillment. But this is where many give up. This is where many get distracted and lose what hath been prepared for them. I don't want you to be one of them. I don't want you to let go of what I have already placed in your path. Don't turn away from my voice. Don't close your ears. Don't treat the sacred as common. There is a line between yesterday and today, between what seemed impossible and what is now unfolding. That is why I tell you, stay awake and alert, because every detail of this moment is part of what I am accomplishing. Don't think you've made it this far by chance. Don't think it was by accident that you opened this video and heard these words. I arranged this meeting with you. I brought you here so that you would know that you are not alone and that I continue to lead your life. When everything seemed lost, I was already preparing the way for your new beginning. When your faith wavered, I was holding you up so you wouldn't fall forever. Listen carefully. There are seeds within you that have not died. They've only been waiting for the right moment, and that moment is now. The countdown is not measured in months or years. It's measured in moments. I stand before you today to tell you that the next step you take can completely change your path. Don't let doubt take this away from you. Don't let disbelief silence what I am releasing to you now. I know the weight was heavy. I know you often felt like there was no way out. I know you even thought about giving up. But I am the proof that it's still worth pushing forward. In every dark night, I was there. Every prayer that seemed unanswered, I heard. Every painful silence, I worked through. Now, I speak because it is time for you to be encouraged. It is time to believe again. Write in the comments, I still believe. This is not just a simple statement. It is a testimony before heaven that you will not be like those who left you when you needed them most. It is the spiritual mark that proves you are still standing, even when human strength tells you there's no way to go on. The divine clock is moving forward. As you read these words, as you hear this message, my hand is moving things that your eyes can't yet see. Do not underestimate what I am doing. Do not despise what seems small now, because it's the beginning of something that will mark your life forever. You were chosen for this moment. You were set apart to hear these words. Heaven is a witness to this moment with you. I am not just here to encourage you. I am here to prepare you, to align you, and to confirm to you that the promises made to you are still open, and they have not faded away. The power of my voice breathes life into them once more, and you will see the fruits of everything you believe in, even in the quiet moments. Do not let weariness take over now. Do not allow distractions to pull you away. Do not look back as though you have lost what was behind you. Keep your eyes on what lies ahead, for what I have prepared for you is far greater than anything you've already experienced. Hear my call. This is your moment. This is your time. This is the turning point I have set for you. Take a deep breath and accept this word as a living seed. It will not fall in vain. It will grow when the time is right. I assure you, you have not been forgotten, abandoned, or left behind. The moment you are living through has been marked by heaven as the beginning of a new season in your life. Listen closely to what I am telling you now, because this is not just a passing thought or a figment of your imagination. It is my voice breaking the silence and calling directly to your heart. Many have been on the edge of receiving their answer but lost it because they became distracted by things of no importance. There are those who prayed for years, cried in secret, and stood firm in faith through trials, but at the moment when the answer was about to come, they grew tired, discouraged, and let go of what was meant for them. I do not want this to be your story. I did not bring you this far to let you miss out on your promise now. It is precisely at this stage that the enemy will intensify his distractions. He knows the harvest is near, the rain has begun to fall, and the waiting is almost over. That's why he tries to distract you with things that do not matter, get you involved in pointless arguments, and fill your heart with worries that are meaningless in the grand scheme of eternity. He uses your weariness, the voices around you, and even the smallest doubts to make you believe that nothing will happen. But I tell you, do not be misled. What I have already released from heaven is in motion, and if you stay watchful, you will see it unfold before your eyes. Do not grow tired now. Do not give up when you are so close to seeing your fulfillment. Your faithfulness has not been wasted. Your tears have not been overlooked. Your prayers, even when silent, were not forgotten. I was with you during every long night, in every moment of silence that felt empty, and in every prayer that escaped as a quiet sigh. And now, as the answer draws near, I am here to warn you, do not let anything distract you. Many lose their way in the final stretch. They were so close, yet allowed themselves to be distracted. They stopped praying, stopped believing, and stopped watching, and as a result, they missed the fruit that was nearly ready to be picked. I do not want you to make that mistake. I do not want you to give up on the promise when it is already within your grasp. It is time to increase your focus. It is time to guard your heart. It is time to shut out the voices that try to confuse you and keep your eyes fixed on what I have already promised. The enemy knows he cannot stop my promise, but he will try to keep you from staying until the end. He knows he cannot close the door I have opened, but he will try to convince you not to walk through it. He knows he cannot undo my decree, but he will try to steal your faith before you see the result. Listen closely, I am with you right now. I am not far away and I am not indifferent. I speak to you now because I want you to receive what I have already given. Do not let distraction steal your inheritance. Do not let weariness cause you to pull back. There is something too great ahead for you to turn away from it now. That is why I tell you, share this word now. Someone else needs to hear my voice at this very moment, just as I speak to you. I want to speak to those who are on the verge of giving up. There are some of you who feel exhausted, hearts ready to surrender, sons and daughters who believe there is no hope left. By sharing this message, you become an instrument of my will. You are joining in the heavenly movement that not only strengthens your own life, but also lifts up others. I see when your heart shakes. I know when doubts cloud your mind, and I understand when you feel like giving up. But I also know when you choose to believe again, when you decide to stay even when you can't see the way, when you trust in the middle of your storm. It is that decision to keep going that changes everything. It is your quiet faithfulness that calls heaven to act on your behalf. Don't be fooled. Time is moving fast. The countdown is on, and I don't want you to miss what I have already prepared. Stay strong. Close your eyes to distractions, protect your heart from discouragement, and strengthen your faith once more, because what once seemed far off is now close. I am coming quickly. I am coming with power, and I am coming to prove that I am the same God who keeps His promises. When you choose not to be distracted, when you stay focused on my voice, you will see the difference between those who gave up and those who held on. You will see for yourself the harvest I have set aside for the faithful, the answer that has been in motion and is now coming to you. Stay watchful. Don't grow tired. Don't let distractions pull you away. This is the most critical moment of your journey, and I am here with you to ensure that the promise is not lost. Listen closely to what I am telling you now, because these words are not empty or uncertain. They are eternal decrees that come from my mouth. My absence was never real. It was just your limited view of a God who works beyond what your eyes can see. I was the peace that surrounded you when everything within you was falling apart. I was the comfort that gave you strength when you thought you couldn't go any further. I was the quiet voice that brought hope when despair tried to shout louder. I was the unseen refuge that protected you when you felt there was no safety. The tears you hid from others, I made precious in my sight. The crying you thought was weakness, I turned into a testimony of strength and endurance. Every time your heart bent in pain, I lifted it with my love. Every time you felt your strength slipping away, I poured new grace into you. It was not your own strength that kept you going, but my faithfulness. I know you carried questions that seemed to have no answers. I know the long silences made you doubt. I know you searched for someone who truly understood your pain, but I was never far. I was by your side even when you couldn't feel me. I held your life together when you thought it was all falling apart. And I want you to know this: no pain you felt was wasted, no suffering overlooked, no sacrifice forgotten. Everything you endured in secret was recorded in heaven. I didn't just watch you from afar. I was with you at every step. When you thought you were walking alone, I was the one carrying you. When you felt like no one was listening, I was the one who heard every silent cry. I am the God who cares for you. I am the Father who loves you. I am the one who never left you, even when the world turned its back. Though many didn't see the value of your faithfulness, I did. Though many didn't recognize your dedication, I did. Though many didn't notice your tears, I turned them into seeds that are now beginning to grow. Your crying was not a sign of failure, but a sign of your humanity held in my divine care. Your brokenness was not something to be ashamed of. It was the door through which my grace entered to restore you. And now, in this very moment when you hear my voice, I declare that the time for just tears has come to an end. Your tears were not in vain. They were not forgotten, and they were certainly not wasted. They were treasured before me, and I will turn them into a harvest. So, do not believe you were alone. Do not think you were ignored. I have always been by your side, even on your darkest days, during the quietest nights, and in the moments when hope seemed to fade away. I am the one who has carried you to this point. and I will continue to walk with you until the end. Rest now in my love, for I have seen every hidden tear, and each one has a purpose in my eyes. I am the just God who sees everything, and nothing escapes my sight. I know how many times you've been rejected, how many times you gave your best yet were overlooked. I know when you served faithfully and went unnoticed. I know when you spoke words of blessing but received nothing but harshness. I know when your heart was filled with good intentions, yet you were misunderstood. None of this has slipped past my attention, because I do not just watch your life from a distance, I am involved in every detail of it. Many may have forgotten you, but I never have. People may have placed you last, but you were always first in my heart. They may have insulted you, but I always called you my beloved child. They may have abandoned you when you needed support the most, but I was always by your side, even when you couldn't feel it. I am not unjust like men. I do not devalue what you offer. I do not ignore your efforts. You chose to stay whole, even when you had the chance to seek revenge. I saw you forgive quietly, when no one knew the hurt you could have held onto. You chose to stay holy, even when it would have been easier to compromise your faith. Every right choice, every sacrifice, and every act of selflessness hath been recorded before me. And now, I declare, the time for reward has come. I am the judge of all the earth, and I do not close my eyes to injustice. I do not let those who spoke against you without cause go unpunished. I do not forget the times they hurt you, even when you responded with love. And now, I rise to declare that I will be your vindication. You will not need to defend yourself with your words. You will not have to fight for recognition. My own hand will be the sign of your victory. Those who mocked you will see with their own eyes what I am about to do. Those who doubted your faith will realize that you did not waste your time, but that you sowed in good soil. Those who called you a fool will witness that I am the God who honors those who stay faithful. It will not be a display to humiliate you, but a testimony to lift up my name. Your story will speak for itself, and the truth will be revealed not through confrontation, but as proof of my presence in your life. You may have believed that your faithfulness meant nothing, but I tell you it holds eternal worth. You thought your tears fell into emptiness, but I have kept them as seeds of justice. You felt that all you gave went unnoticed, but every act of obedience is a treasure in my eyes. Nothing you've done with in vain, nothing with youth, nothing with wasted. I am the one who turns pain into testimony, rejection into honor, and being forgotten into being lifted up. Lift your head now, because this is the moment when I restore your dignity. You will no longer walk with your head down, burdened by shame. You will no longer live in hiding, afraid of judgment. I will bring you into the light, not to expose your wounds, but to reveal my glory in you. When I restore, I do not just give back what was lost, I multiply it. When I honor, I do not just put it back where it was, I lift it high before everyone. When I bring justice, I do not simply make things right, I transform them. That's why I am telling you, write 777 in the comments as a sign of covenant with me. This number will be your public declaration before heaven that you believe in my justice and trust that my vindication is already at work. This act is your spiritual signature, your way of saying that you accept this word and that you stand firm under my promise. Do not be afraid of the judgment of others. Do not worry about the opinions of those who don't believe in you. My voice is more powerful than all other voices. My decision is final, and my justice is flawless. I tell you again, the time of humiliation is over, and the time of honor has arrived. When I lift you up, no one can bring you down. When I exult, no one can tear you down. When I declare something just, no one can condemn it. I am your justice, your defender, your judge, and I stand now to declare that you have not been forgotten. I saw every step you took when no one was watching. I saw you choose to remain faithful, even without applause, recognition, or immediate reward. You chose the harder path, not because it was the easiest, but because you knew it was the right choice before me. Every silent decision, every act of sacrifice, every moment you chose not to give up has been recorded before my throne. Nothing went unnoticed, nothing was in vain, nothing was without purpose before the heavens. You thought you were just getting by, but in truth, you were being shaped. What you called pain, I called preparation. What you called loss, I called protection. What you called delay, I called time for you to grow. I wasted nothing. Even the wounds you carried became seeds of strength. Even the silences that weighed heavily on you became chances to build your faith. I know the weight of the journey often felt overwhelming. I know there were days when you felt like you had no encouragement, no energy, and no words left. I know you even thought that everything you did was in vain, that no one would ever see your efforts, that nothing would ever change. But I want to tell you, every tear, every prayer, every quiet act of kindness mattered deeply to me. And now, when I look at you, I see a child who did not give up. I see someone who kept going, someone who believed even when everything around them seemed hopeless. The journey wasn't a punishment, it was a path. It wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. If I had given you what you asked for before the right time, you wouldn't have been ready to handle it. If I had given it to you earlier, you wouldn't have had the strength or wisdom to keep it. But now, I know you're ready to receive it. I know that not only do you desire the promise, but you now have the strength to carry it. The losses you faced were not because I ignored you, but because they were necessary for your growth. The doors that closed weren't signs of abandonment, but of protection, keeping you from paths that would not have served you well. The people who left were not rejecting you. They were clearing the way for you to walk more freely into the new things I have for you. Everything makes sense when you see it from a higher perspective. And I, who see the end from the beginning, know exactly why I handled every part of your life this way. That's why I ask you to look back with a different view. Don't just see the pain, see how it shaped you. Don't just see the weight, see how it made you stronger. Don't just hear the silence, understand that my hand was quietly writing your story. Nothing you've gone through has been in vain. Every part of your journey has worked together to make you stronger, more mature, and more prepared for what's ahead. What seemed like a desert now reveals itself as a path. What felt like being stuck now reveals itself as building. What seemed like abandonment now shows itself as my care for you. I never left you. I never turned away from you, even when you felt like I was silent. It was my voice holding your life from the inside. I know how many times you thought nothing was changing, that your life was stuck, and that each day felt the same with no visible progress. You looked around and saw others succeeding, doors opening, paths clearing before them, while you stayed quiet, waiting in what seemed like a standstill. But I tell you, nothing was standing still. What looked like a pause was actually my hidden work. I wasn't punishing you, I was preparing you. The world values applause, the spotlight, and success on display, but I work from the ground up. I lay the deep foundations before I build the structure. A tree can grow fast, but without strong roots, it will fall when the storm hits. I don't want your life to be shallow or temporary. I don't want you to receive something you can't keep. I want it to be solid, stable, and unshakable. That's why I allowed times of silence. That's why I allowed doors to close. That's why I let people walk away. It wasn't abandonment, it was protection. It wasn't neglect, it was purpose. I removed things that didn't support what I'm about to release. I broke cycles that kept you stuck in the past. I interrupted patterns that pulled you back to what no longer helps. Every loss you thought you had was actually a release. You didn't realize it. But while you grieved what you lost, I was preparing the ground for what's to come. While you mourned what you didn't understand, I was making room for what you couldn't yet see. I didn't let you carry burdens that would weaken you when it's time for your harvest. I wanted you to reach the new light with your hands free to receive and your heart ready to move forward. Let me tell you this. The time you thought was spent hidden was actually the time I was clothing you. I was building your patience, strengthening your faith, and expanding your vision. I was teaching you to rely on me, not on the circumstances around you. I was teaching you to hear my voice in the midst of all the noise. I was teaching you how to walk without a map from people, trusting only in my divine guidance. Your quiet obedience meant more to me than any public praise. The choices you made in secret weighed more in my eyes than the grand works the world cheers for. I do not seek outward appearances. I seek the truth. I am not impressed by outward brilliance. I rejoice in a heart of sincerity. I do not value performance. I value dedication. Now, you are beginning to understand why it was necessary to wait. You are starting to realize why the journey felt so long. You are beginning to see that what you called a delay was simply the time I spent strengthening your foundation. I do not build things that are fragile. What I build lasts. What I create does not fall apart. What I begin, I finish. Do not think you were forgotten or abandoned. You were being shaped. While many thought you were stuck, I was positioning you for something greater. While others thought you were pulling back, I was pushing you to take a bigger step. Because sometimes, progress doesn't come by moving forward, but by going deeper. I planted roots in you that no one sees, but they will hold you strong when the weight of the promise comes. So, do not look down on the hidden years. Do not reject the quiet seasons. Do not curse the times when it felt like nothing was happening, because it was during those times that I worked most deeply in you. It was in those quiet moments that I shaped you the most. It was in those deserts that I taught you the most valuable lessons. Hidden growth is the key to your strength. Now I tell you, what seemed like loss will turn into a solid foundation. What seemed like delay will now be seen as preparation. What seemed like silence will become a voice that speaks loudly. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been in vain. Nothing happened outside of my control. I am the one who designed your story, and even when you couldn't see it, I was perfecting every detail. You will not be like those who bloom fast and fade away with the wind. You will endure because what's in you was not built quickly but with patience. It was not made on the surface but deep inside. It wasn't formed on a stage for everyone to see, but in the secret places. That is why, when I put you in the spotlight, you will not fall. This is the result of hidden growth. You are ready to receive without losing it all, to move forward without going back, to live the promise without being overwhelmed by it. I've told you many times that I would do something new, and today, I assure you that the new thing has already begun. What once seemed like a distant dream is now becoming your reality. The not yet that you waited for so many times is now turning into a yes that is filled with purpose. You looked ahead and wondered when your moment would come, and now I tell you, now is that moment. But understand this, the new thing I am preparing for you is not like the old, is not a repeat, is not a copy, and it is not just a cycle disguised as something new. I needed to break the patterns that tied you to the past. I had to cut the ties that were holding you back from moving forward. I had to close chapters that you didn't want to close yourself. I know it hurt, but it was necessary, because if the old remained, there wouldn't have been space for the new to come in. Don't think I took pleasure in your pain. I didn't enjoy your tears, but I knew that only through these painful changes could your heart be free enough to receive what I was preparing for you. I understood that there were things that, if they stayed with you, would weigh you down too much and cause you to stumble when the time for your harvest came. So, I stepped in. I removed what no longer had a purpose. I broke cycles that only drain your energy. I freed you from invisible prisons that you didn't even know you were trapped in. Now, you are starting to feel the difference. You no longer carry the same burdens. You no longer wear the same chains. You are no longer stuck in the same cycles.